If I'm off the
We
show, there
back.
ain't no show.
We
We're
back.
good.
I think we back.
We're good.
All right,
You
we're
Okay.
back.
Can I,
hilarious.
let me see. Hold on.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
about
want to
to.
like.
I'm gonna remove you. There we go. Get him out of here.
Mike was gonna say something too. He's just like, nope.
Oh, bro, you messed
Hey, I'm an
up.
admin. I can add myself back whenever I want, boy. You don't think you can? You think you can do that to me? I
Oh
created
shit.
this network. Co-created this network.
Oh yeah, because you're gonna make Barry with his egotistical ass jump
Yeah.
at you. Mike,
All right,
Mike,
boys. Take
I
it
want,
easy.
I wanted to
There we
shut
go.
right now. I could shut this shit down right now. If I wanted.
Yeah, I took this. Listen, I took it down once. I can take it down again.
Oh,
Later, gents.
all right, Mike. Tyler, how you doing tonight, dude?
Good, man. The Pistons look like they got one, did they?
They did. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure they
man.
did.
That one, yeah, that was a good one. They did what they were supposed to do, kept their foot on the gas. You know, it looked like the Knicks were going to be able to go on a little bit of a run at the end there, but you know, the
Tibbs will be Tibbs,
they're
and at the
playing.
end of the day, he sucks, bro. Like Jalen Brunson sat at the scores table for like 2 minutes, bro. Like two
Yeah,
minutes of game time.
that was
But
bad.
my honest opinion about this Lakers series, bro, and if I was a fan, I'd be just as mad, right? But I feel like when Rob Pelinka made this trade, he was selling out the team this year for the playoffs and the title run because it's not constructed without a center to really, Luca and LeBron, yeah, they should be able to do more than what they're doing, but I feel like Rob Pelinka was thinking, oh, let's set this up for the future. Fuck this year. Uh, and nobody wants to hear that, but I feel like he kind of gutted, like you said, he gutted some of the necessary, uh, you know, interest, whatever the word is, that you need for the playoffs, right? Like you need that presence in there. And so the Mark Williams thing, the physical failed, and after that, I just felt like, man, they were kind of selling out the season.
Mark Williams was an interesting thing because I mean, again, Anthony Davis was complaining about a lack of size and lack of help that he had on defense, and the Lakers like, all right, cool, let's just send you out. So we have no help on defense. So Mark Williams could have been a good enough replacement where I do like his rim presence, and he's had some very strong scoring games where he definitely could have made a difference for the Lakers. But of course, just bad luck and just how that physical went down, it just never went through. So yeah, the Lakers are on their back foot right now, and it's they still did what they could best they could do. They finished with the third seed, but it's gonna take another offseason or two to see them be complete and really be a true contender.
Yeah, because now they could build around Luca. But the thing is, um, I don't think Ant has a great team, and he's like, the next guy up, whatever you want to say. This Timberwolves team though will never, in my mind, make it to the finals and win it. I think they're capped at like this second or third round just because, you don't have that really second scorer. If you're gonna rely on Dante DiVincenzo to be your second scorer, I mean, how far can you really get?
But that's the thing, though. The crazy thing about them is that their second score has been anybody that's been hot. Like Julius Randle, even on his inefficient nights, he's been that guy, right? Nas
Yeah,
Reed has been
yeah.
that guy in the fourth quarter. I don't think Nas Reed has missed a shot in the fourth quarters that he's played. Like that's huge. And so when you're talking about they need a second score, I definitely do agree. To get all the way there, they are going to need that consistent second score. But it's just like the Indiana Pacers. You have your guy with Tyrese Halliburton, and then anybody else can give me a night, then we're cool. We can win this game. And the Timberwolves are right now showing that they are the exact same way. If it's not Julius Randle, it's going to be Jaden McDaniels. If it's not him, it's Nas Reed. If it's not him, it's Dante DiVincenzo. And they're all playing their role. They're not playing bigger. They're not playing less. They're literally playing up to where they are coached to be in this system, offensively and defensively. And so, yeah, man, I think that, it's like I said earlier on the stream. I see this more as the Timberwolves forcing the Lakers into these mistakes. I see this more as the Timberwolves just taking the game the second they smell blood. This is the true definition of a freaking wolf pack. We are seeing a wolf pack as a starting unit and on the bench unit. And that coach, Chris Finch, just shows how much trust he has in this team and just lets them go out there and play. He coaches, but another part of coaching is being able to trust in your guys and them using their experience or them using whatever grit they have within themselves to get through it and win the game. And that's exactly what they did this last game. They used their grit and their fierceness and their just mentality as a wolf pack to go out there and win that game. And so, we'll see what happens in game 5 back in LA.
Which is tomorrow, right? Tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night. So we'll see what happens if LA, just falls on their sword and they lose that one and the Wolves move on, or if the Lakers, show some fight in them, being back in the Crypto.com arena, being back in front of their home fans, and we see, a vintage LeBron game. But I need Luka to have one as well, because even though you had your stomach bug issue in game 3, LeBron James dropping damn near 40 and Luka gives you another 30, that would have been huge. That would have been a very big game 3 win. In my opinion, you go out there, you might mess around and win game 4 because you build all this confidence. Your old boy just went for 38, right? And so,
You know who came out on top though? Edwards. Edwards had 43, and he's a damn killer. He was shoving LeBron around. He's not scared of anyone. He's someone that everyone in the Timberwolves will die for. And they have the energy. They have the defensive prowess. I think they do have enough where, sure, they don't have a consistent second scorer, but I agree with Arthur that they have enough around him to where as long as Edwards is putting out the output that he is, and he's day after day, 'cause he doesn't look like his energy is just limitless. Like he's just at a point, every play he's giving you everything he's got. And that's why I love Edwards. He's showing that maybe he should get more love in like the all NBA, maybe even close to a first team, not this year, but maybe in the next year, the future years. And I think the one thing that was killer was getting rid of Towns, because I think if they just ran back last year, they could have very well have been a finals contender. So it's like they do have a tough route where, I still believe, I do believe that the Warriors will beat the Timberwolves next round, and then we will have a Warriors Thunder third round. But yeah, it's just it's very tough for the Timberwolves. They just always seem to have a bad break coming into the playoffs, and but I do think eventually Edwards will break through. He will finally have his run that's like, wow. Game after game, Edwards is just dunking people through the rim. He's doing everything he can. He just doesn't care who he's going up against. He will give you buckets. So I believe in Edwards.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough after him.
And last year, to wrap up that talk about the Timberwolves, just because I know we got the Clippers coming up, which is a great, great series, by the way. But Chris Finch went down with a major injury right before the postseason last year. That could have affected them. Like he wasn't on the bench the whole playoffs. They had that assistant. I mean, they like their assistant, whatever, but I mean that's got to play a part in something. So yeah, they've had some bad luck. I do think they pieced it together one of these times, but I think they're still maybe one or two pieces away from getting their ceiling to the level of ABA championship. Like to actually win it.
Yeah. So as you said, Tyler, this is a very good series between the Los Angeles Clippers and the Denver Nuggets. Right now, the Nuggets are up 12, series tied 2 apiece. We've seen some really good things in this series. But we've also seen some, really old things. James Harden being one of them. Times that he doesn't, show up and does what he needs to do to help this team out. But at times he has. And then we also see Kawhi Leonard that for the last few weeks just looks rejuvenated. He looks like the old Kawhi Leonard, the Kawhi Leonard that was in San Antonio, the Kawhi Leonard that was in Toronto. And they're at times the Clippers just show how much depth they have with Norman Powell, with guys like Nicholas Batum, with guys like Dunn, great coach and Tyronn Lue. But also the Nuggets, they just fight, man. And the fact that they've been together for so long, Joker, Braun, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., that core has been together for so long to where they what am I looking for? They just cover each other's weaknesses, right? And them just being together is their biggest strength. And so yeah, I definitely expect this to go 7. Like I said, right now the Nuggets are cooking up 10 in the first quarter, fellas.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's crazy. Go ahead,
sorry,
brother.
you go, Tyler.
No,
go,
no.
Tyler.
I was just
Good.
going to say, I mean, I think we could all agree that whoever wins this game takes total control of the series, right? It's 2-2. Nobody wants to go down 3-2. I honestly had the Clippers winning this series and the next series in my bracket when I first did it. I just thought they were playing hot, but Denver seems to be playing super, super devoted basketball. MPJ with the shoulder injury, they're still getting it done when he's playing with one arm. Aaron Gordon, man, they seem like they have a chip on their shoulder. And if you're Clippers, you do not want to lose this game.
No, and it's one of those things too. It's like right now, as I'm looking, Jokic is not having a strong start, and the fact that the Nuggets are practically up by 10 is not a good sign for the Clippers. They definitely got to get things going. It's still early, of course. There's still so much more basketball to go. Zubac definitely is a big factor in this series because he's basically the biggest big that could even handle Jokic when he's inside the paint. Jokic will always be the main engine, but Jamal Murray finds his ways where he'll have his crazy games. Gordon and MPJ, and I think the word you were thinking of, Arthur, is cohesiveness and consistency. I think those are some words that you're probably looking for because that's basically what the Nuggets have been year after year. They pretty much have the same starting 5 minus Brown. They got Westbrook off the bench. I know Barry just loves Westbrook, but Westbrook is just.
We should get Barry a Westbrook jersey.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
Oh
For
yeah.
sure.
So and he's just
The
he's
Lakers won.
such a
Not the Nuggets won. Definitely the Lakers won.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, with Darvin
this
Ham's
Bryson.
autograph.
Oh, what's going on, Bryson Carver? How
Man.
we doing, dude?
Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
Everybody's
welcome,
coming
welcome.
out tonight and loving it.
It's good to see.
Welcome,
First of all,
welcome.
Dylan, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since we've talked. I think the last time maybe I host 8 o'clock spot in January. So it's good to see you, my man. I like
Yeah,
you wearing that
likewise.
Celtics hat. Celtics are in a spot where they can close out tonight. Good for them. Obviously I'm gonna be watching a lot of Boston tape because seeing as that our teams are going to be squaring off again in June. I got to make sure my team's ready to go. So just making sure that we're just in advance ready. Of course, I had to rep Mr. Draymond Green, the real defensive player of the year, getting the stop to win the game on Alperen Şengün. So, I'm in a good mood tonight, Phil. So how are you?
You missed my whole talk about the Warriors and how they're looking like a 3rd-round team. So you probably would have loved my points about Draymond Green and
I bet I would have.
Butler and Curry are looking good together. Like they have something, man. I do think they have something. As much as I would like to see a rematch in the finals, but Curry is just one of those dudes that he just puts fear in the hearts of everyone he faces. So I want to see it, but I don't want to see it, but I want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's an opportunity for you guys to get back. I totally get that. I think it'll be because both teams are so different now from what they were in 2022 for different reasons. So that would be a fantastic series. But listen, what I think makes Golden State so darn scary is I think Mike mentioned earlier, I caught the tail end of Mike talking about potential Lakers matchups if they were to survive Minnesota. And he mentioned that Houston's the best defensive league, which he is technically correct on that point over the 82-game stretch. What he did not mention is that over the last 2 months or so since Jimmy Butler was traded to Golden State, the Warriors are the number 1 ranked defense in the NBA. So you combine that, you compare the fact that Jimmy Butler scores 14 in the fourth quarter on a bum glute, I guess. They injured back in game 2. Steph doesn't really even have it. He hits a big shot late, but that's pretty much all he gave you. And then Draymond Green, 5 fouls in all, flagrant foul, a BS technical that he should have never gotten. And, of course, game on the line, Steve Kerr says, you know what? Şengün's been killing us all night, and we're going to trust you to go one-on-one with no help. And Draymond got the stop. Jimmy got the rebound over Steven Adams. And by the way, too, that's one of the advantages the Warriors have is Steve Kerr. I mean, the fact that Steven Adams, Alperen Şengün lineup, for obvious reasons, was killing the Warriors. And what does Steve Kerr do? He's like, I'm just going to make them take Adams off the floor. We're just going to hack an Adams and Houston did, and the Warriors were able to kind of claw back into what was a pretty reasonable deficit. So listen, it was a good Game 4 win. I'll have a reaction on my channel tomorrow. But yeah, long-winded sort of response to say, yeah, the Warriors gonna be the finals, Arthur. You know it.
Oh,
You just
man.
don't
Hey, I
admit it
will say that does bode well for Golden State. Dallas had the #1 defense in the last 2 months of the season last year, and they ended up in the finals. And nobody would have guessed that either, because Dallas had Luka on their team, and you never associate good defense with Luka. But hey, when you're playing together as a unit and you're all bought into the same, and you're communicating,
Yep.
shit, that's all that matters.
No question. I think that's and by the way, what's the similarity with the Mavs and the Warriors is the Mavs made some moves at the deadline to bring in some guys to be able to up the ante and give Luke and Kyrie the necessary help to where, I mean, it's a little bit different because offense wasn't exactly the problem in Dallas, whereas it was in Golden State. Like if I'm going to talk about my reaction to the game tomorrow, but it's if Steph has the night that he had last night 3 months ago, tough luck, man. That's just, there's no one else you can go to. I get Pods was great last night, and Pods has actually been quite hot over the last month, but he's not going to be a secondary scorer in a championship team. That's just not realistic. But you can give the ball to Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy, and he can get it done. So, by the way, how about 12 for 12 from the line with Jimmy in that game? So, yeah, I mean, there are some similarities with Golden State and Dallas last year.
Arthur's vibe
I
has
would be
changed. I need
super-
to hear Arthur's take on all this, and Bryson coming in and taking over.
I think Arthur, who has been Barry, has ridiculed me for my Warriors belief, and he always has. That's fine. That's kind of part of our dynamic. Not to the level Arthur has. Arthur has said like there's just absolutely no chance in the realm of possibility that Golden State can even have a realistic shot at going to a finals. And I think just by the day I see that look on his face. Part of it is the Lakers have been just falling apart at the seams in fourth quarters, but also part of it is he's like, gosh darn it, man, first year at the Grid Network, and this joker is this clown from Tennessee gonna get it right.
It's not even that. It's just the fact that, first off, it would be like one of the very few things you've gotten right on me all year. But
you know what? Fair enough. You are correct. You are correct on that. You know what? I'll give you that.
It's just the fact that, dog, we saw it earlier today with Stephen A. Smith on First Take. For some reason, bringing up the freaking GOAT debate.
Oh, it's the dumbest thing ever. Yeah.
And so it's like, when you have Paul Pierce say that Steph Curry can win 5 rings and that the LeBron era can be called the Steph Curry era.
I think that's an insane take.
But it doesn't matter. It's going to be a conversation that's going to be had. And it's just like, damn, if this dude wins another one, kudos to him, because my hate for Steph Curry whenever he doesn't play the Lakers isn't really there anymore. I've gone to love the dude. I'm happy for him. Same thing for KD, Kawhi, James, all the dudes that I grew up watching. I want them to go on as high of horses as they possibly can, including Russell Westbrook. But when it comes to the LeBron James, Steph Curry conversation and the way that the media and everybody else will just run with that convo, if he wins again this year, I'm just not looking forward to it. And I'm literally going to have to prepare my mind to listen, watch all of this, and just be like, you know what? I can't say anything because he has 5 rings. LeBron
Stephen A's going to eat that shit up too.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
especially with his beef with LeBron. That's what's going to fuel, I think, Stephen A's side of it. No, and by the way, on the Paul Pierce thing, we know Paul Pierce has a long time beef with LeBron James, so that's not like it's not really a pro Steph thing with Paul Pierce. And I think a lot of this conversation isn't when it comes to Steph, LeBron, or even Shaq. Shaq's probably the exception. Or Shaq said, "Hey, put his name in the GOAT discussion." I'm the biggest Steph Curry fan in the world, and even with the ring. Now, if he gets like 2 rings in the next 2 years, okay. Now he's got 6. Now we got to have some sort of conversation, but a lot of it to me feels like LeBron hate more than it does Steph love, which is why I just don't embrace those opinions. But it is you shouldn't get comfortable with. I don't think anybody should get comfortable with who's better. Hey, LeBron James, Steph Curry. Now, so I think Steph's today a little bit better of a player than LeBron, a little bit. But at their peaks, LeBron speaks for itself. But what we should get ready for, and what I think will become the reality, and I will certainly be at the front of this train, is the Steph over Magic thing. Is that if Steph's got longevity on Magic. Steph has changing the game on Magic. Steph has the handle of Magic. Obviously, the shooting he has over literally every human who's ever walked the planet on Magic. He inherited nothing. Magic inherited Kareem and the Lakers. Okay, Steph's dynasty lasted longer than Magic's. Steph went through tougher competition than Magic to get to those finals. And so and it doesn't even diminish what Magic did, but what Steph's doing right now at 37, like we forget, this Joker's in year 16. This Joker's in year 16 doing what he's doing and is, what was this 3-1 in the series, and is 13 wins away from really further cementing. I mean, it's remarkable what this guy's been able to accomplish, but he is not in the GOAT discussion with the title.
Heaviest ring that changes all this conversation is that 73 win 3-1 comeback from LeBron. That win has done so much to how we look at just debates and conversations in general, at least in recent, because I mean, again, LeBron's undeniably the GOAT, in my opinion. He's done everything he can every year, going to the NBA Finals, win or loss, 10 NBA Finals appearances is no matter what, impressive. The Eastern Conference was his for as long as he was in the Eastern Conference, pretty much, like once he got past his early Cleveland years. But I do kind of agree with Bryson where it does become a real conversation with Magic, because I do think Magic all around is a better skillful guy. But again, every kid now looks at Curry. Like, I have a little cousin that loves Steph Curry and the Warriors, and a lot of kids nowadays, they shoot the threes that they do because of Steph, and that says a lot when you change how the game is. Like, the NBA has been more threes than ever, and that is mostly because of Steph Curry and what he's done. Like, when I looked at the Celtics in that finals when they lost against the Warriors, they felt like they had to keep up with Curry's bombs that he was throwing out there, where when he got hot, it was just you start playing from behind when you're not making your threes, and the Warriors and Steph Curry are. So it's one of those things, and that Curry does have an MVP too. He like, it's always tough too, especially with Kevin Durant jumping in with 2 of those rings. But he won before Kevin Durant. He won after Kevin Durant. So undeniably, I do think Curry's definitely top 10 all time, and he's creeping his way up there, where a 5th ring will definitely do a lot for his legacy.
No question. I think too, like, you mentioned the pre-KD and post-KD wins, but I think we forget how good he was in those series with KD. Like, listen, my mindset is this. I think, with respect to Andre Iguodala, I think him getting Finals MVP over, to me, there should have been one of two Finals MVPs in 2015. Either LeBron on the losing team, because he was unreal in that series, might have been actually better than he was in 2016 when the Cavs won, or Steph Curry, whose numbers were better in the Finals than they were in the regular season when he won his first MVP. Andre Iguodala got Finals MVP for holding for shutting LeBron down to 34, 14, and 9. But you have that component onto it. You have the fact KD was, to me, the runaway MVP in 2017. I think all 5 games he scored over 30, and he hit the defining shot in the series. Game in 2018, and I know we're getting in the weeds here, fellas, but that was a clean sweep, 4 over the Cavs. Steph was the leading scorer on the Warriors in 3 of those 4 games. Ty Lue said after those finals, no, we were keyed in on stopping Steph, not Kevin Durant. And Steph still gave you 27 tonight on pretty efficient shooting. And so, if in my mind, Steph should have 3 Finals MVPs as opposed to the 1 that he got against Boston. But I think
he definitely got robbed of that. Absolutely. I remember watching that and thinking, "What the fuck? Like, damn, Steph should." He wasn't even mad about it. I would have been pissed.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I mean, part of that's just Steph is like any great athlete. It's about the W's.
Yeah,
like, eventually the rings are gonna kind of speak for themselves when it comes to the greats, but. At any rate, I think he's clearly. I don't think you can make an argument that there are 10 basketball players ever that are better than Steph. I don't think you can make that case. I mean, I love, not to name drop here, and I have a lot of respect for his game, but I hear Nick Wright all the time say, like, he's at 12. No, he's not at 12. Like, stop. So that's where I'm at. Looks like the Clippers are, starting to make it a game against Denver, though.
Hey, Dylan, I've also noticed that nobody's talking about Boston. Like, they're still on the throne. I don't understand why there's no talk about Boston.
Because
no one wants to talk about them. No one wants to talk
Yeah,
about them.
I mean, I agree with that, but
the reason why, because it's Boston, bro.
Tatum's got 29 on super high efficiency, and no one cares. Everybody always complaining about his inconsistency, and now he's being super efficient. Again, it's all crickets.
yeah, they really are one of those teams that everyone just hates now. But they're so good 1 through 9. Like, it's just until somebody shows me that they could beat that team with that depth, and that ability to shoot, that ability to play defense. Sorry, my dog's going crazy. But they're still on the throne. So, I mean, if there was a Golden State Boston series, oh my gosh. Strap me up for that. I'm ready.
That's a 6 or 7 gamer right there.
What we're seeing right now from Boston, what we're seeing is a guy who many consider would be the best on his team in Jason Tatum, right? Has a ring, didn't play that much in USA basketball, and he's not in the conversation of being the face of the league. You got
Wow.
Anthony Edwards, that is. You got guys like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Victor Wembanyama, who everybody says is next up. John Morant was taken off that list after all the BS that happened with him. But Jason Tatum has a ring. He's the number
Sure.
one guy right now who has a ring. He didn't win that Finals MVP, and I believe it was the same way because of when Iggy won it. Iggy had moments in that Finals to where it was like, yeah, he shut down LeBron. Yeah, he made sure LeBron couldn't do what he wanted to do in that moment, in that time. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand. Moments matter.
They
know
do.
what I'm saying? We're going to remember the moments. The entire game, and nobody really cares about. The moments matter. Jaylen Brown had plenty of moments last year. Andre Iguodala had plenty of moments in that Finals MVP run that he had against LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. But the fact that Jason Tatum is not even in the face of the league conversations, it's
I-
kind of crazy.
It's gonna be. It's
I
always
get it.
disrespect. It's
I
constant
get-
disrespect.
Yeah, I don't get the disrespect there. I don't get it. Maybe.
I get it because yes, not only is it Boston, but he's not Ant. He's not Shea. Where it's like they have this sort of like aura about them,
Yeah.
right?
But
He
everybody
just-
Can I-
compares themselves to Tatum. Everybody's always compared to Tatum.
Can I offer 2 sort of counterpoints to why he's not the face? Because I agree. I think he is. I mean, he's going to be. Well, I guess let me go back. Yeah, he's going to be first team All NBA. I think once again, which is what is this now, Dylan?
6 straight.
4
Six
straight years?
straight.
6
I
straight.
think.
Oh wow. Okay.
5
Yeah.
or 6 at least. 5 at the very minimum. 5 straight
So,
years since COVID.
His consistency speaks for itself. And listen, I've been one of the big Tatum defenders in terms of his playoff performance. Last year in the finals, up until the game 5, he didn't give you much. But we got to remember, like, there's 2 guys in NBA history, and ironically, it came during the exact same year. There's 2 guys in NBA history who have dropped 50 in the last 60 years, I think, that have dropped 50 in a game 7 win. Steph Curry, Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum did that in that game 7 against Philly. When, by the way, remember that series against Philly, game 6, Boston's on the ropes. Tatum is playing the worst game of his career and then goes off in the fourth quarter, hits all those threes. And I mean, that's the last, I think, relevant Embiid playoff moment we'll ever see, but that's a different conversation. I think it's 2 things with Jason Tatum, because you could say, well, he's got the championship. Tim Duncan was, with respect to Kobe Bryant, for about a 3-4 year stretch, was the best player in the NBA. We're talking what he gave you on both ends. It's a travesty that man never won DPOY. Like, the guy was awesome. Greatest power forward ever. There was never a second where Tim Duncan was the marketable face of the NBA. Now, I don't think Tatum is quite that level of, like, I think Jokic is probably the good comparison for Tim Duncan, where it's like I literally couldn't care less about the spotlight. I think Tatum cares, and that has to come with being face of the league. The second thing sort of goes to what Arthur is saying, and it's not totally fair. But I don't even know if SGA even has this, but like Ant, Luka, Wemby, they do kind of have an aura. Now, does that mean Tatum can never be the best player in the NBA? No, that does not mean that. I think if Jokic maybe fades potentially in the next 3-4 years, although I don't see that happening anytime soon, could Tatum be the best? Sure, he could. Could he win an MVP? No question. I think he will win an MVP before it's all said and done. But that does not necessarily equal we are going to market our entire product after this guy. And so it's not even necessarily fair to Tatum, but it is the reality of what we've done with other stars in the past.
I
Real quick,
despise
fellas.
the aura
Hold on.
conversation.
Hold on, Dylan, real quick. What's going on, Tim? Mr.
Celtics
Boston
fan.
Talk some sense. Talk some sense to him.
Tell me when I'm wrong, Timmy.
Oh yeah, you're just stupid wrong. You're always wrong. But by the way, boys,
I love Tim. Go ahead.
game's over. Celtics. Yeah, Arthur.
Yeah.
I heard you. I heard your comment a little bit earlier today. My boys are fine. My boys are fine. They needed a half to regroup. All right. You know, they're running away with this.
They are. I literally said I believe they're going to pull this one out. with them being up, with them being down 8, I was really like, well, I believe they're going to win. But go ahead, do your thing.
No, it's all good. No, I'm just I was laughing though, or not laughing. I was nervous. Wasn't the right word, but it was just infuriating because at the half, 9, like a ton of turnovers. Didn't make a 3 all half, which was I think the second time all year, including the playoffs. So it was kind of wild. The Celtics of all teams didn't make a single 3, but we're running away with this now. We had a bomb third quarter. We hit 1 3 and it was like just raining right after that. And yeah, this game's over. But no, in terms of the Tatum talk you were mentioning, all I got to say about that is it sucks when he's probably one of the very few players, I would argue, in NBA history who's so well-rounded. He can pass, he can rebound, he can score, he can do everything that you need from one player. So, and yet it's almost kind of like he's punished because he's not the Anthony Edwards where he's so bullish and vocal, and he's not I would argue Jokic, yes, he's unbelievable, but I think part of it too is he's different. He's from Serbia.
Yeah, he's not from here.
Yeah, he's not from here. And Tatum, mild-mannered, no, I wouldn't say soft-spoken, but just a mild-mannered dude who goes about his game, plays his game, and you get what you get. But yeah, and so I get why people don't want him to be the face of the league. On top of the fact, too, let's not forget, the Celtics are the deepest team in the NBA. They are the best team in the NBA, like team. So when you are the best player on the best team, that does kind of present you differently because everyone's like, oh, well, Jaylen Brown had a great night. Derek White had a great night. Drew Holiday, like so on and so forth. So it is that kind of juxtaposition. But overall, either way, Celtics, Cavs, it's going to be Eastern Conference Finals. Can't wait. I wish Mike was on right now.
You guys, go ahead.
Sorry. I was about to say, I despise the Aura argument so much because everybody talks about Tatum and slanders him because every time there's a star that gets compared to the cream of the crop, it's always Tatum that's like compared. Like whenever it's like, oh, Anthony Edwards is one of the best in the league, he's better than Tatum because this, that, and the other thing. Shea's the best in the league, he's better than Tatum at this, that, and the other thing. It's always Tatum. And again, it's because he's on Boston. If he wasn't on Boston, if he was on 29 other teams, I guarantee you he'd be looked at much nicer. And I do think part of it too is how deep the Celtics are because even with the Thunder being as sound of a team as they are, people do look at it as Shea's team. And same with Jokic, where it's his team. And people always like to discredit Tatum that, Brown should get part of that spotlight too, especially when he's a year before him and he won Finals MVP. But Tatum was leader in points, leader in rebounds, leader in assists during that Finals. The series before that, he led in all 5 categories at Conference Finals against the Pacers. Only LeBron's the only other player to ever do that in a series. But he just gets a constant disrespect. I'm going to start going to my LeBron glazes. Oh, he's a great father. And this, that, and the other thing. He's not, he's not like Anthony Edwards where he's like, get the pill, and like force him to the abortion shit. Like, he's a genuinely good dude. And it's just like, and again, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he does. If he's too loud, they're going to be mad that he's too loud. If he's too soft, they're going to complain that he's too soft. All the eyes on him, I argue, is aura. You don't have to like him, but it's aura. And it's like, and again, he'll continue to get discredited. He could win 3 straight rings, and they'll say, oh, he copied Kobe winning 3 straight rings. Because that's just how Tatum is viewed. And, it's like, oh, he loves Kobe, he copies Kobe. Kobe, bar for bar, copied Michael Jordan's game to a sickening degree that, like, you could overlay their highlights and how they move, and they're identical. No one cared about that back then. But when Tatum kind of does his own little Kobe tribute and stuff like that, he gets friggin' dragged all over the internet for being corny. So again, no matter what he does, if he pays respects and tries to be good, it doesn't matter. He's just gonna get hated regardless. So it's just like he's gonna keep balling, he's gonna keep doing his thing, and again, people are gonna hate it. They don't want to accept it. But Tatum is top 5 easily, and he will get an MVP before his career is over.
I do agree with your last point that he gets slandered way too much for the Kobe stuff. Like, man, he knew Kobe, he was close to him, he worked out with Kobe. Like, oh, so he's mirroring his game to a degree after Kobe. Great. I'd much rather mirror after Kobe Bryant than, no disrespect, but Russell Westbrook or something. Like, that's not like there are worse guys you could model your being a superstar after. I think the thing with Tatum is, and I'm trying to remember, you made a really interesting point about. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is what it was. Okay. About the Celtics being sort of the Celtics brand. Would you say it's more their brand or their depth, as sort of Tim mentioned, that is more of a hindrance of him being face of the league? Is it more like just the Celtics, how they're constructed, or the Celtics brand?
I that's tough because I mean, again, but Boston's always been one of the biggest worst ones. But I think the fact that they are constructed the way they are doesn't help because Tatum, again, he's the bona fide one. He's always getting 30 plus. It is his team. But because of the depth around him, they're going to discount him, saying that, well, he has all this help. No wonder why he's doing this good. But he's going to do this regardless of who's around him.
Because if it's a depth thing, then I'll hear that case. Like, hey, man, if Jason Tatum let's say it was Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and the Minnesota Timberwolves supporting cast, like good supporting cast, nice players. I heard you guys raving about Naz Reid. I love Naz Reid, but Naz Reid is what, the sixth best player on the Celtics today, maybe. Like that's it. There's just, I agree with Tim. They are the deepest, and I think the best team in basketball right now. The Celtics brand, though, I disagree with. So I have a heart. You mean to tell me Larry Bird would not have been the marketable, would have been more marketable as a Sacramento King than a Boston Celtic? Like the Magic rivalry, like all of that would have.
Hold on,
can different thing.
Right, so can I? Yeah. I just want to and I totally understand what you're saying. I just wonder if something like that, if Larry Bird, yes, played for a different team, Sacramento or another team, how that could have affected everything. But at the same time, too, Boston, and I was just thinking about this too, especially with the Celtics documentary coming out on HBO. How, again, does the NBA want to make the face of their league the guy who plays for Boston? Even though I despise the reputation that Boston has, I don't believe that it's, that way anymore, or, as bad as it was during the Russell days.
Sure, of course.
And the bus and the school busing, which don't get me started on busing and how dumb of an idea that was. But, I'm just sitting here wondering, because I feel like a lot of people now who didn't live through that era still, want to say Boston's the racist city. Boston is this. Boston is that. Look at they just talked about it on the last episode of the documentary last night, where Al Horford is the only black free agent to ever come who chose to come to Boston.
Right.
No other player in history, drafted or traded. And again, I'm not saying that's the case.
Sure.
Thought that just crossed my mind. Otherwise, in terms of Larry Bird, I think it worked out that it was Boston, LA, two different cities. Otherwise, it would have been much harder, I think, if Larry or Magic played anywhere else.
But that's kind of. Go ahead.
One more thing as far as that too. During the 80s, I mean, it was well known that the NBA was kind of on its last legs. It was kind of dying. So they needed the big markets of
the
Boston
70s,
to keep it alive. And again, it has, back and forth as great as they were, kept them going. And NBA has blossomed what it is now. Nowadays, it doesn't matter what team you are, how talented you are. People are going to follow you. The kids love LaMelo Ball, and he plays in Charlotte. Who cares about Charlotte Hornets? But the kids love him because how flashy player he is, all the fun highlights and stuff that he does. So, I think Tatum, I guess a detriment would be that it's like, well, his game is well-rounded. He doesn't have like the high-flying dunking skills that like an Anthony Edwards has. He doesn't shoot the lights out quite like a Curry does, but he does enough of everything that, it's like you can't give a great weakness to his game. Like maybe, sure, he turns over the ball a lot. But that's about it. But that's just part of his mentality of him being a killer. He's turning into a killer before our very eyes because of the disrespect.
Sure.
And now it's going to backfire on all the haters where it's like, oh, wow, well, Tatum, here's another 35-point game from him. We missed 5-6 times. How are we going to turn this again? And again, I mean, it is, again, bias and but it's like, if he was carrying a team that wasn't as well, talking about wins and history wise, and it's like a more fresh team in the eyes of the people, I do think a lot of people would change their tune on Tatum.
I totally get that point, and let me give an example. Let's use an analogy here, and everybody here, feel free to participate. Let's do the last 30 years in Hollywood and entertainment. Who would you say, if you had to pick one actor, you said this guy has been the face of Hollywood over the last 30 years? Who would that be?
God.
Ooh, that's tough.
Just pick anybody.
I feel like
major big stars.
The Rock has been so many movies. I feel
okay.
Definitely he's got to say.
There's a few. Rock, Kevin Hart, Denzel,
No. George Clooney.
George Clooney, Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise. I mean, there's a lot of names you could throw out there, okay?
DiCaprio.
Oh, no question. Throw out all those names. I will take Daniel Day-Lewis over every single one of them. As a natural, who is the best actor?
Mm-hmm.
Name the blockbuster Daniel Day-Lewis has been in. These movie studios know who the superstars is. I say that to say there may be a point in time where Jason Tatum is better than Jokic. Who knows? I won't put anything past this kid because he gets better every single year. But could the NBA see this guy? Even because I think the Celtics helps him. I think the Duke thing helps him. And all of it. Could Adam Silver look at Jason Tatum and say, okay, got Anthony Edwards, I've got SGA. I don't think SGA is ever going to be the face of the league because, again, it's not totally fair, but the Aura thing is a conversation. All of these guys, Wemby, and says, I can market this league more with this guy than those others. It's not even necessarily who's the best player thing. It's not totally fair. Like, I would argue Allen Iverson was far more marketable than Tim Duncan. Allen Iverson was not the player. Tim Duncan was. Mm-hmm. And so it's not totally fair to Tatum individually, but it isn't inconsistent with how we've always done it. I think that's the point I'm trying to make.
He is front and center of advertisements of things. I mean, Tatum is there. It's not like he's not shown on the commercials, that he's not shown on the
Sure, he's not Kawhi.
Yeah, it's like he's one of the guys front and center. It's just people choose to not accept him. I think it's more of that because of the Aura conversation.
Perfect example. Go back to the USA team last summer. Disrespect.
Listen. If we want to have that conversation about Steve Kerr, we can have it now. But I did segments on my show, and I swear to God, this is not even a Warriors thing. This is a Team USA thing. I remember I literally had a graphic on my show where, and I can dig it up in my notes if y'all want me to. It's probably bad podcasting, but Tatum, it was something where Tatum was either last or second to last in all of the per game categories, like points, rebounds, assists, all of it, and was like fifth on the team in minutes per game. So it was like on a per minute basis, he was the worst player in Team USA outside of Halliburton. Like Derek White was giving you more. Derek White was huge for Team USA. Drew Holiday was awesome for Team USA, and Jaylen Brown should have been on that squad. I think that was BS that Halliburton got in over Brown. That's another story for another day. But by the way, Steve Kerr in all of this was, I think, proven correct. I don't know. We won the gold medal. I rolled. I mean, there's a reason. Drew Holiday was not one of the 5 best players in Team USA. He was indispensable, though. From a fit perspective, he worked better.
And I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to take away minutes from Drew Holiday or Derek White, for that matter. And yes, but at the same time, not for nothing. Yes, the world has gotten better at the sport of basketball. I still believe that we are the best team anyway.
Currently, yes.
Going into any Olympics, going into any world tournament, no doubt. But in terms of, and it's funny because I think you and I did, like, you did it, and I didn't necessarily call you out, or maybe I did, but I did a rebuttal.
Feel free.
I did a rebuttal on that myself, where actually, no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
But I forget, like I said, dig up my notes as well. I forget. But needless to say, I was just making the jest that
no, sure.
Guy won the NBA Eastern Conference Final MVP. or won the whole thing, and he got a handful of minutes tops in the Olympics that following summer. Not to say and then I agree, he was the games that he played, he was not good
At all.
No, I don't know what he was dealing with, what he was going through. He didn't have it. But Jason Tatum is
it's all about. Go ahead, my fault, bro.
No, you're good, man. Like,
it's
listen,
all about fit. It's all about fit. It was the same thing when D Wade was on that team, and D Wade was coming off the bench when they won all those gold medals in the early 2000s. It's all about fit, and that was my biggest thing. Also, like not just about the Olympic team, but also seeing how they were playing in FIBA basketball the year before. Like that team was just a horribly constructed roster. Now, yeah, it was FIBA basketball. Who cared about that? We care about the Olympics, but you're taking all of these guys who are number one or number twos in their team and telling them to play together. That's not realistic, right? And Jason Tatum, who is a number one guy, he has to find a fit with Kevin Durant, with LeBron James, with Steph Curry. This ain't the All-Star game. This is a real global competition where I need to find what I do best on this team. If it isn't scoring because we have LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant, then it's got to be defense. It's got to be rebounding. It's got to be doing whatever the heck it's got to be whatever the heck the team needs. You know what I'm saying? For me to be able to be out here. But you saw like Derek White, defense, timely threes, rebounding. Drew Holiday, same thing, timely buckets, defense, hustle. Jason Tatum, he didn't give you that on that team. He was mainly scoring, right? But when you got all these other guys who literally do what you do, it's tough to be like, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna get me some. Because I can't, because there goes Steph, there goes Kevin Durant, and there goes LeBron James. And if I mess around and try to go get me some and I miss, and it happens in a game where it's crucial moment, Steve Kerr taking me out the game.
With all due respect to Steve Kerr, I think a bag of rocks could have won a gold medal with that team. I mean, Doc Rivers, as much of a choker as he was, he still.
Oh, Doc Rivers would have messed that up. Trust, Doc Rivers absolutely would have messed that up.
Well, he's lucky it's not a 7-game series. He probably would have choked a 7-game series.
I'm telling you, Doc Rivers would have messed that up.
About that. So, but like Arthur definitely hit the nail on the head. It is fit because Tatum, he has a certain rhythm to his game. He has a certain ball dominance where he needs to have the game go through him. And it was clear as day that there were too many cooks in the kitchen and Tatum was left out. So, it's tough. It's how it goes. And yeah, he definitely did not have the showing he did compared to how Holiday and White were, because they're not ball dominant dudes. They're more of the guys that give you defense, give you buckets when they're wide open. And Tatum, he can't just sit in the corner and wait for a shot. That's just not how he plays. So it's tough.
I do want to say this. The way the Celtics final score is going to be, because the Celtics currently have a 31-point lead over the Magic. It is seriously a tale of two halves. This game, like the Celtics could have very well lost and could have been a very close game all the way to the end. It's wild to me that the final score is going to be the way it was, seeing how the first half was played. And by the way, Jason Tatum joins Larry Bird, the only two Celtics with 35-plus points in 3 straight playoff games for Celtics history, just FYI.
Dang.
But
and by the way,
not
not totally 100% too.
10 assists too.
That's my biggest gripe, though, about Boston, and my biggest problem with y'all. Y'all always like to play with y'all's freaking food until y'all say, you know what?
Hey, it's done in 5. The game's over in 5.
I get it, but dude, like
I knew Atlanta would get one.
Yeah.
No, you froze.
We lost Arthur.
Oh, no.
Listen, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, when you got to play, like, I believe we all think that Cleveland and Boston is going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
No question.
You can't have a lackadaisical effort coming out against Cleveland. Whoever you play in the finals, you can't have a lackadaisical effort. I think Boston's going to win. I believe Boston is definitely going to go for 2 in a row this year. I do. But the reason why I would take somebody else over them is because based on whoever they're playing, they're going to come out there, they're going to lollygag, they're going to chill. And then when Joe Mazzola decides to get in your ass and say, yo, we can be better, y'all going to be like, oh, we can be better. But depending on who the team is, being better might have to wait till next game because your ass is getting kicked.
Yeah.
No, and that's what I love about this game right here. This series right here is the Celtics. You're right, Alpha, and it's driven me nuts. And that's part of the reason why we lost to Golden State that year, in 22, is because we played with our food. With Marcus Smart era, it was playing with our food. We were just like dunking around. Marcus Smart is what was the most overrated Celtic, I think, in Celtics history.
Oh wow. Dang.
Oh my God.
Ever.
Ever. The amount his ego could not cash, or his talent could not cash on his ego. Like, it was through the roof how he thought he was so important to that team. But when they finally traded him, I thought that was the best decision, because if you look at last year, sure, yeah, everyone wants to say it was so easy for us to, the road was easy. But when you look at how we played, we didn't play with our food. We kind of got the job done. The most we had was 5 games. And I thought it was right the way it ended, and for this season, I feel like we kind of fell back a little bit into that mold. But watching this series in Orlando and just the way Joe Mazzulla screamed at Tatum to get up while injured, which is
Joe Mazzulla's a psycho, man. He is
him.
nuts.
I love Joe Mazzulla. He's so effing funny. The move, and then to see this game where they couldn't buy a bucket, they were turning the ball over left and right. They, were down, 2 at the half, and then just proceeded to have a 31-point victory in a game where it was good. It felt like it was going to go down to the wire. So, I mean, listen, Arthur, I agree with you. I'm just wondering if those days are kind of behind us, hopefully.
Well, yeah, Tim, I do agree with some of your points. I can't get past Marcus Smart being the most overrated Celtic, because, again, Depoy, he was the leader of that team, for better or for worse. Even, when they had Isaiah Thomas and Terry Rozier and Avery Bradley, and they're still making playoff runs with 50-plus win teams. Marcus Smart was a big reason why they were doing that. So I can't slander Marcus Smart, but I do agree with you that the team was playing through Marcus Smart. They weren't playing through their best players. He played the seniority card. He kind of played the big dog, where Tatum and Brown looked to him to get the guys going. And that when Smart went and Porzingis came and Holiday basically took that Smart kind of spot as a good defender guard, where he doesn't have an ego, where he needs to score, definitely opened up Tatum and Brown to blossom to who they are now. So you are right in that sense, and I think we are behind that. The one thing that I'll always hate with the Celtics is the constant turnovers, and they did it a couple times this series too, where they were careless with the ball. They weren't moving and finding the right open guy, and they just turned to just ugly basketball. So I think it's just one of those things that I think Tatum and Brown have figured out who they are, and they will. I just don't see anyone pushing them to 7. This is playoffs, really. I think they really hit where they need to be to win.
I get that. No, I mean, I think they're the best team in the league right now. I think they're going to mop New York in the second round. I mean, that is.
Shoot, that's if New York can win. They're going back to Detroit.
But that's true. Yeah, that's true. Listen, I think they'll probably close out Detroit in 6. I had Knicks in 6 before the series began. Like, that was. I knew Detroit would play hard in some of these road games. It's funny, both of Detroit's wins coming in Madison Square Garden, which I think is one of the most difficult places to play road playoff games in the league. That home court advantage is off the charts, and I mean, kudos to them for hanging tough. But quickly, and then I also wanted to bring up something else because I thought it'd be an interesting discussion. But just quickly, the Nuggets are up 10 to close. It looks like they're about to close at the half. Russell Westbrook has been outstanding off the bench.
Yep.
I don't know if y'all like. He's got 6 of 11 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3. Like, listen,
I keep
we're getting Barry Grant
respect Westbrook.
Jr.
Respect them.
Westbrook jersey, dog. I'm not
Hey,
Jersey,
fooling.
the Nuggets jersey.
When's his birthday? Let's
Lakers.
separate
Lakers.
the group
Hey, guys.
chat.
Tim, his birthday's this week.
Oh,
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I'm going on what
I think
you
it's
call it? Fanatic.
D-Skate.
Tonight.
D-Skate. Get him the Westbrook
Something.
Lakers.
Hey, we're getting boss man a freaking Lakers Westbrook jersey. Hell yeah. Cash it. That's what we doing.
Oh,
Shoot.
my God.
Respect Westbrook. Respect
Hey,
him.
man, that boy balling. He's balling. You got to give him credit. I don't give a damn what anybody said. He knowing definitely is, but shit, he balling.
The thing that I wanted to bring up though as well, because and their season officially ended tonight. I think it unofficially ended the other night. Did Giannis just play his last game as a Buck?
Absolutely, dog. I swear to God, if he don't get out of there,
I mean, to me, the only I talked about. Go ahead, Arthur. Go ahead.
he better not be Dame.
Yeah.
Better not be Dame. Dog, get out. Get out, bro. I look, I get the loyalty card, but these organizations ain't loyal to y'all. The
Mm-mm.
hell?
well, hold on.
Dude, these organizations ain't loyal to all. Everybody need to take a LeBron James route. You know what? I gave y'all what I could for my first 6 or 7 years. Y'all haven't given me anything back. I'm out. Goodbye. Love y'all. I'll come back and win y'all a ring. But until then, is peace, is deuces. I got to get out because I'm worried about my career. For far too long, players had no choice but to be okay with the organization running their career, the media running and covering their career the way they were. Now players is like, yeah, nah, screw that. I'm my own man. This is me that gets talked about in the media stories and in the newspapers, not the owners, not the GMs, heck, not even the coaches, unless it's a real established, real coach that has, a really top player. But it's my name that gets dragged through the mud most of the time. So why would I not do something to make sure I don't get dragged through the mud and I don't get looked at as the problem? I'm the first line of I'm the person that gets looked at as the problem. You're not playing well. You're not doing this. You're a bum. You're a bad teammate. People don't like you. All this BS is being said about me. Why would I not get out of this situation? And that's what Giannis needs to do. Dude, ever since your championship year, y'all haven't looked the same. Middleton was old. Y'all let go of Drew. I thought that was cool. I'm like, you know what? They get Damian Lillard back. But Damian Lillard hasn't been Dame, right? Which it also goes back to what we said earlier. Fit matters. Coaching matters. All of these things that make a great roster in an organization and championship winning team matters. And the Bucks they don't have that. So I think their window definitely is up. And Giannis needs to say, look, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I want here, but I need to go.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Jason. And I think the funny thing is, Arthur, I think it was, I did call Giannis overrated. And I think the reason why I called him that, at the start of the previous show is
Before Mike screwed it up. Yeah.
It's because I feel like ever since he won the title in 21, he's been, I'm good. I don't need to do anything else. I'm chilling. I will get my points. I will get my stats. And he's never really, I mean, yes, you argue put the team on his back. That's not what I'm implying he hasn't, but it's just that he's okay with, doing, going down that route. And
Sure. Monkey's off his back there. Yeah.
exactly.
But that's how a lot of them are.
And that's why I believe he's gone. And I don't think he cares at all.
But that's my thing also, that I think we don't understand that, dog. A lot of stuff that America considers whatever, overseas don't. Dog, Joker is the same exact way. Bro, when do I get to go back home to my horses?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
Joker's
we'll be-
a totally different cat.
True, yes, he is, but it's also the thing of it's like, bro, this basketball stuff is cool. Like, dog, yes, I'm this, yes, I'm that, cool, bro. I'm about to go ride my horses. I'm about to go come back home. Wemby is the only Shea, like those guys are the only one where it feels like, okay, it kind of feels like they have like the American mentality where it's do or die and this is all it is and yada, yada, yada. But even I don't think they go as hardcore about it as we do over here. But
Sure.
I also kind of appreciate that from Giannis and Joker because it's just like, dog, like y'all, we put a whole lot into this, right? A lot of things like, yeah, legacy matters and all that stuff, but not everybody sees this as like a do or die thing. A lot of some other people see this as a thing where it's like, it's just something that I love to do, but it's not my end all be all. So that's why I was like, when I hear Giannis say, I want to be Tim Duncan, I want to retire and nobody know who the hell I am. I can go somewhere. Nobody know who the heck I am. I'm cool with that. And that's where it's just like, for me, where it's just like, you know, like, yeah, like there's something to being able to be who you are at that elite level, but then still be like, I want to feel like I'm still human.
Yeah.
And I think
Sure.
the humanity part is lost in a whole lot of this, which is why a whole lot of them say, you know, I got my family, I got this, that's all I need. Because the humanity part just gets overlooked because how much
Here's what I'll say is, Tim, you mentioned that 2021 title, and he's obviously he hasn't come close since. The closest they came was the next year when they played your Celtics. There's the Middleton injury. Tatum has again, I mentioned Jason Tatum, big games. That game 6 might have been the defining moment of his career to this point. And so, and then 2023, he's beat up. They get gentlemen swept by Jimmy. And then last year he's hurt. This year, the Bucks kind of fall apart. I would agree with you that maybe he is a little resting on his laurels to a degree. If he didn't make the push to go get Drew Holiday in 20, which again, that was before he was a champion, but then repeats that 3 years later with Dame, because I remember talking on my show at the time, like, man, Giannis may leave. And then the Bucks go get Damian Lillard, and it's like, okay. And then I think he actually signed an extension almost immediately after, sort of like as a sign of approval. And so, and again, what's happened with Dame is just anytime anyone suffers Achilles injury, it's just awful, especially a guy at his age. Will we ever see that old Dame again? But as great as he is, I mean, the guy has shot like 60%, 63% for the field, like something. Now, again, I know he's unstoppable down low, but that's still something. That's like Shaq stuff. Not as dominant as Shaq, but those are Shaq-like numbers. Mm-hmm. And so if he hadn't made that push to get Dame and the team just ages out, gets old, they retain Middleton, all of it, then yeah, maybe I could come to that conclusion that he maybe is like a Dame pre-2023, where it's like, I like Air Milwaukee. I can kind of blend in. I'm not a superstar in LA, Miami, Boston, New York, Dallas. I'm just trying to figure out what team is going to have the package to land him. Houston probably could. Şengün, I think, will almost certainly have to be a part of that, right?
Yeah,
I would deal Jalen Green a second before Şengün.
Too young and good. So
Houston,
tough.
Yeah,
you better be like, no. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he's going to be no, yeah. I want to give respect to Giannis, though, because, again, you said Drew Holiday and Dame Lillard are 2 big acquisitions for the Bucks. Can you name any other big acquisitions the Bucks have gotten around Giannis besides those 2 guys?
Yeah.
Kyle
Kuzma might be 3rd. I mean, like,
Bobby.
Yeah.
Bobby wasn't there before. Bobby wasn't there before. Right?
No, Bobby Portis has been there. That's what I'm saying. Like
he's been there a while. He was there on that title team, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And Chris Middleton has been hobbled and injured, hasn't been fully himself since the finals run. So Giannis has done the best he can with what he got. So it's just who's going to be the next team that looks after them? That's definitely a big question. I can't think of like a salary cap off the top of my head. I think the Bryson, what you said about the Rockets is definitely a great one. Maybe
can I throw another team out there that's been suggested? And this would be terrifying. The San Antonio Spurs, where
Twin Towers 2.0.
Twin Towers and De'Aaron Fox.
Oh,
that's a team that can win a couple titles, guys.
What they give up though? That's the thing. I feel like Fox would have to be the guy.
Stephon Castle's probably the center of that deal, and then just
better not be. Hey, he better not be.
I get it, but you're gonna have to give up one of those guys. Obviously, Wemby's untouchable. I think Fox has been there for 2 minutes, so they're not going to deal him. And so,
Stephon Castle literally
he's good
of the year, and showing you why he's going to be a critical part of your future. Houston, same thing. Şengün, untouchable. Jalen Green, untouchable. Cam Whitmore, untouchable. Who else is there?
Cam Whitmore, untouchable. I would move Jalen Green in a second for Giannis.
Bruh.
I don't believe in. I'm cold on Jalen Green, guys. I'm not gonna put it on the screen, but I actually literally worked on a graphic the other day about Jalen Green's play late. Like he's been, I mean, not just awful, but not even aggressive. Let's see. I think I had Cav. I'm looking at the stat. Okay, so in the last 7 games, fellas, Jalen Green, 5 points, 7 points, 2 points, 7 points, 38 points, 9 points, 8 points. And
But
by the way,
this is
like-
game tape. This is literally just tape for him to look at during the offseason to show this is what I need to consistently be for my team to win games.
I get that, but can I let me push back. Name the player that plays the way Jalen Green plays that has gone on to lead teams to titles. It hasn't happened. Especially, I mean, in the modern era, we've seen Jalen Green, like 5 of them per 5 years in the NBA. Like that guy does not lead. Like Şengün, you can, I don't know. Listen, Şengün's 22. It's kind of hard to tell now, but maybe in 5 years, maybe he can be the centerpiece of a title contending team. I like Houston's pieces outside of the bum that wears number 9. Screw him. But everybody else is. I think they've got pieces. I mean, listen, he hasn't played much at all, but maybe this is just me trying to represent a fellow shooter. But Reed Shepherd, I'm telling you, that Reed Shepherd kid, when he gets on the floor, like that's gonna be a good piece for them.
For sure.
You mentioned Cam Whitmore was like the steal of the draft a couple of years ago. Tari Eason, these are really impactful players. I don't know if Jalen Green really fits in their future, and so I feel like they have to, if Jalen Green's a centerpiece, then they have to get another team involved in that deal. But if that were to come to pass and Houston has the cap space, I'm doing that without thinking twice. I just don't see Jalen Green as the 1 or 2 on a title team.
No, I agree with you. I personally think Şengün is going to be a better Sabonis. I think Sabonis has been one of the better.
I could see that.
As far as just scoring and playmaking, being an all-around guy. I see Şengün going down that route, but being more gritty. It's just so hard for me. I'm a big Şengün guy. I really do think he has a bright future.
Yeah.
One team that I'm looking at them, and it doesn't really make sense, but in this league where nothing makes sense, imagine this. The Phoenix Suns, with all their cap that they have taken up, if they somehow, some way make a package, they offload Beal, they offload some picks, because they know they're going to be bad. They already don't really have many picks in the first, but I think they did trade back some picks anyways, but if they could somehow make a package to keep Kevin Durant and keep Booker,
I don't think that's realistic.
It's not. I don't think it's not realistic, but I think it's crazy enough that the Bucks don't make good decisions, and they already know they lost Giannis, so why not?
I think Milwaukee is going to try and get the absolute possibly best deal because they know. I mean, they obviously had Kareem, who I think Kareem's the 3rd greatest basketball player ever. They had that guy for as long as they had him, and it took them freaking 50 years to get someone just even in the same galaxy as him. Like that's just the reality for small market teams. It's not fair, but it is the reality. It's just harder to build title teams, and you almost certainly have to do it through the draft. And so for Milwaukee, it is. I think the main thing, getting a good like all-star level player is going to be important for them, or maybe I mentioned Stephon Castle, getting a guy who's got that type of potential in the future. But I think the key for them is we are just going to go Oklahoma City mode. We're getting as many picks as we can possibly get. And so preferably get like a bad team, mediocre team, maybe like a Bulls or somebody included into this deal.
What about Philly?
Man,
Offload Embiid?
I don't think they take Embiid. I don't think they take Joel Embiid in for a second.
I'm trying to think. I'm
Like
trying to
Giannis?
find big contracts.
Bigger
'cause
problem.
Giannis is such a big contract. It's so hard to move such a massive contract with this
Yeah.
CBA.
So
I don't know.
I said it earlier, Dylan, and I'll say it now again with with Tim and Bryson on. So do you build around Dame?
No, you can't.
You
You can't.
can't.
He's going to be 36 when he comes back off an Achilles. You can't.
Okay, so what do? Make Damian Lillard have to
You blow it up.
do
You
it?
blow it up.
He just got there.
He didn't want to
listen-
be there in the first place.
He didn't.
Exactly. So that's
Don't
what
matter.
Let's blow it up. Trade his ass. Someone's
Yeah.
gonna take him. Someone's gonna take him.
Yeah, they need picks. He picks bad. That's all I could say. Whoever has the most picks, they're gonna have to throw shit ton of picks and the match salary, and it's so hard because there are all these rules, and you can't really like unless you really match the salary. It's so hard to really get a trade with Giannis's gigantic contract to go through. So there really aren't many options in the first place.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, but listen, we've seen impossible deals come together in the past. I mean, who'd have thought Phoenix had the well, I guess they kind of had the assets to get KD, but Mikal Bridges, God bless him, is a really good starter in the NBA. You wouldn't think Mikal Bridges is the centerpiece of a deal to get Kevin Durant, prime KD in 2023. So we've seen this. I mean, look no further than 2 months ago, right? What happened between the Lakers and the Mavericks. Now that was just an all-time bad case of general managing by Nico Harrison, but still, like, crazier things have happened.
Was it?
Yeah, yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Hey, dude, I'm feeling like Barry right now. It probably wasn't. I think I understand why Nico Harrison traded his ass. I think I understand. Because there's the thing, right? I peeped it early. I get it, but hey, he's fat and giving 40. I don't give a damn. And you know what I'm saying? But even this, Bryson, even I was critical because I'm like, dude.
Did you see him in the finals?
Hey, look. No, I didn't watch the finals. I didn't give a damn. Dog. Bro, I'm so serious. I'm at a point right now, bro. If LeBron not playing, I do not care. I watch the NBA now because I'm here and like I gotta be able to talk this shit.
Yeah.
I don't dang on about anything else. You think I wanted to watch that Bucks and Pacers game?
No, that was it ended up being a decent game, in fairness, but yeah.
And early on, I'm like, bro, this shit boring as hell. Hey,
there's a reason they're putting on an NBA TV every night at 6:00 on the East Coast. Yeah.
So it's like, but dude, seeing Luka now consistently, and again, this is what I was worried about come playoff time. Is what he gives you? Is that going to be worth it this year? Because I had a lot of people telling me, nah, man, they can still have a championship run. Braxton, you was one of the biggest ones. And I'm like, dude, I feel this is for the future. There's no way that you are saying like you're perfectly comfortable saying that this is going to be a title run this year. And the Timberwolves, I thought, was perfect. Luka likes to see bigs. Bron, the same thing, but he's been playing a lot more off ball. The Wolves are still a bit, young in that stage, even though they have, Anthony Edwards and he's been playing exceptional. I was like, you know what? I think that the Lakers can take them in 5. If it goes 6, they can take them in 6. Cool. But watching Luka consistently struggle, and I can't even really say struggle, but it's
his problem. His issue is always, it's not that he's not a good defender. There have been a lot of great players who aren't good defenders. It's that he doesn't even try in the defensive end. I mean, Steph Curry's a good example. Like Steph Curry is not exactly Tony Allen, to say the very least. Steph Curry tries on defense. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he'll fight over screens, all of it.
It's all about effort.
You can see the effort.
It is
right there from Steph Curry. From Luka, I don't see it. And look, I get it. You got to pick your spots. You do. But, dog, you pick your spot every daggone defensive possession. And every single defensive possession, Anthony Edwards is dancing. I literally know what Ant is going to do every single time. Oh, okay. Austin Reeves, come here. Luka, come here. I'm a tween you, and I'm a step back 3. Or I'm a tween, go by you, and I'm a
dunk on somebody's head.
Annoyed the hell out of me. He did this literally like 5 or 6 times in a row. He ISO'd. He took the ball to the hole, and he didn't immediately go up like you would think Anthony Edwards does. He 2-stepped through the lane, and I'm like, dude, he's going to do it again. Don't jump. Just stay disciplined. Stay down. That's where Anthony Davis and not having him, you just see it. Again, Barry don't miss Anthony Davis, but Anthony Davis is showing why he's being missed in this series.
In this series, I agree with you. And then quickly, and then you go, Tim, but initially, I did not think that this was a championship team. Listen, what is obvious is that this was a move for the future. That is not debatable, because in the here and now, AD probably does give you a better chance this year to compete for a title. The problem is LeBron's probably done next year. It's on the board. He retires this year, but LeBron is a Kobe type, and nothing against this, but he's going to want the retirement tour. More power to him. Yeah. Once 2026 is over, now the franchise is in Luka's hands. And guys, if the franchise is in Anthony Davis's hands, I don't care what his age is. You've got a ceiling. I mean, you just do. It's second round at best. It's literally New Orleans all over again. And so it's for the future. I think this was the obvious, but I get Luka is. We all want to pull our hair out watching the fact that the whine of the refs, stars whine to refs. This guy is on a different galaxy than anybody I've ever seen in my life in any sport. Okay. Right. And then again, the lack of it. There was a stat. You might remember this, Tim and Dylan, during the finals last year, but it was something like Luka as the primary on-ball defender. I think Celtics blew by him like 67% of the time. Something insane. Jaylen Brown went nuts on Luka. I mean, every Celtic did in the finals. Everybody does in the playoffs. So that is a problem. I get that. And so what the Lakers are going to have to do is what the Mavericks did is they're going to have to load up on some bigs to give him help on the interior when someone inevitably blows by him. Where I thought the Lakers could be a title contender this year was in large part due to their coach, JJ Redick, who now has kind of done them in, at least in game 4 he did, where it's the defense was shockingly amazing. Like, wait a second, Luke, we just traded one of the best defenders in the world for one of the worst, and our defense got better. How does that happen? Again, I'm not an X's and O's guy. I don't know how JJ Redick pulled it off, but he did. Seeing the fact that LeBron wasn't having to play on ball as much. Go ahead, Arthur.
Because a reinvigorated, rejuvenated LeBron is a different type
You're
of LeBron.
probably right.
And we see this every freaking trade deadline. That's a different type of LeBron. Bro, I haven't seen LeBron deep in the defensive stands in I don't know how long. This trade happened. I'm on my toes. I'm moving around. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. A rejuvenated LeBron is a different type of LeBron. And when you see that in the building every single day, you ain't got no choice but to follow. When I see LeBron James out there still getting chased down blocks, protecting the paint, I forget who it was that drove in, but he blocked them late in the game, late in the last.
I think
game.
it was McDaniels, maybe.
I'm just like, dang, dog, you 40. You 40, bro. I know that body is going to be hurting tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Like for me, and I'm with Guido, it's probably going to take a vintage LeBron performance 3 straight games to even give themselves a chance. But the problem with that is even if you give that effort, you got to see in a crazy world, Houston, or more than likely, you're going to have to see Golden State. Golden State is not the team that you want to see. That little skinny light skin, you don't want to see him. Luka don't want to see that. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, the best bet for the Lakers was to take care of this series early so they could get rest for either matchup. Because the Rockets, young, defense, Amin Thompson, Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun, add in the fact that the Lakers don't have a legit big that I think can guard Sengun in the first place. And then you got Golden State, Steph Curry, Buddy Hield, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, Steve Kerr, Gary Payton Jr., Pajemski, Post. Like, you have all of these things that literally counter anything that you want to do. And I was like, look, bro, just get the series over with as best as you possibly can. Don't play with your food. Don't let them make you make mistakes. And whatever mistakes you make sure you cover them up as best as you possibly can. But when you have 4 minutes left in a close game, and you think the best thing to do is still let Luka try to play iso ball against Naz Reid, who is moving his feet and making it difficult for him to blow by. Same thing with Julius Randle. I'm thinking, yo, what are you doing? Y'all falling into the trap. LeBron, help. Austin Reeves, help. Somebody help this man out. Get the ball out of his hands, because this is literally what they want. You feeling like you got to ISO Luka every single possession is literally what the Wolves want. All right, cool. Beat us. You beat us.
This is what I talked about on my show. And sorry, I keep interjecting, but then feel free, Tim. This is what I talked about in the show yesterday, where I said, even if the Lakers somehow survive the series, which I don't think they will, I think it's on the board, guys. Minnesota wins game 5. I really, really do. But if not, I think they win game 6. And by the way, even if it goes to a game 7, and Edwards was down 20 at the defending champs last year, and they came back and won. Like, he ain't scared of nothing. So he's taken down Hall of Famers in the playoffs. So he won't blink. And so all that said, I think the Rockets are going to win game 5 tomorrow night, and then Golden State closes them out in 6. So let's play that scenario. The best case, because we agree it's not going to a game 7, barring, knock on wood, God forbid, terrible injury. So game 6, Golden State, Houston is going to be May 2nd. Best case for the Lakers, they take Minnesota 7, knock them out in 7. That'll be this Sunday. So the Lakers get a day between game 7 and game 1 of the next round. The Warriors, top of my head, get 3 days. And by the way, in a series where they were challenged, but they were clearly the better team. And by the way, you're telling me the Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr, get to prep to go against Luka Doncic defensively in the playoffs with a beat-up LeBron who just played 46 minutes in a game 4 on the road with Jackson Hayes, I can't tell if it's Jackson Hayes, Walker Hayes, or God rest his soul, President Rutherford B. Hayes. I can't tell the difference right now that when he's on the floor. Like it's the fact the Lakers don't have bigs, the fact that they don't have perimeter defenders. That is a quick series. I'll put it that way. And so, yeah, I think they're dead in the water. What were we going to say, Tim? Because I know we were talking about Luka.
No, I was just going to go back to the fact that why on God's green earth? And this is why, again, I'm not the biggest. Well, and again, it's not like I'm a expert NBA person who knows the ins and outs, X's and O's, coaching, and all that stuff. I just like to talk about it. But why on God's green earth? You're down 3 coming out of halftime, and you don't sub anyone out.
It's the first time in NBA history that's ever happened.
That had to have been, and not for nothing, they still lost by 3. But I couldn't believe it. It's like, again, as we've mentioned, you have a 40-year-old LeBron James. You have a Luka Doncic who 100% rested, still refuses to play defense. How the hell do you think he's going to do when that gas tank is on 0? Like, it's I don't know. I couldn't believe my eyes, just watching that, being like, hello, McFly, you got anybody? Bueller, where's the bench at? They all on their coffee breaks? Like, come on now.
I mean, it kills me because, we've talked ad nauseum about Luka Doncic and how he looks like a Twinkie and plays like a Twinkie out there on defense. But it's like, again, when you look at the rest of that team, man, it's like, you tell me you want Dorian Finney-Smith out there. You tell me you want Gabe Vincent out there. The only time Gabe Vincent
I do want
showed
Finney-Smith out there, yes. I'm a Finney-Smith fan, yeah.
I don't.
Not for the
He
whole
was on the
half. I
Mavericks,
don't want anyone out there for the whole half. No.
You don't need them for the half. You just need them for spurts.
It's just like, Finney-Smith had 41 minutes and he had 6 points in 41 minutes. He had 8 rebounds. He's productive, sure, but it's like at the end of the day, I do think what Barry said earlier about Reeves being the 6th man, I think that's like the big rotational thing where it's like, if you do go a little bit bigger, sure, you know what, if you want to put Finney-Smith out there for a little more size in the starting lineup and then have Reeves run the second shift, I think that's a good Band-Aid for right now. At least where it's like you get a good enough scoring off the bench when Luka's not in the game, because we're getting the Mavericks 2.0 right now with how this Lakers team is ran. Even with LeBron, and when he has his spurts of going off. Last year when the Mavericks, we had games where PJ Washington was going off for 30-plus points. We had, they were able to get players to come out and do well. And granted, it was going through Luka and he was exhausted and he was doing everything he can on offense. And we're seeing this yet again. Can Tom Brady work with Luka Doncic, get him on the TB12 method, get him slimmed down to like an extra 15 pounds or so? So I think that would do wonders if he gets on the TB12 method. Maybe he'll have just
take him away from American food, bro.
Oh, I heard your point in that earlier, Arthur. I thought that was a good one.
Club Central. Again, bro, I left to go overseas at like 210. I got down to 195 while I was over there. I got back here 215, 220.
Bro, Arthur's different.
He's listed to 230.
Especially in
RFK's trying to help us, guys. Come on now.
But that, listen, RFK can try and do what he does. He ain't doing jack squat about the Southern food. Tim, you and I know as well as anybody. Our food down here,
yeah, bro. Dude,
it's different.
Different.
And he knows it. Luka knows it very, very well. Again, going back,
that Tex-Mex.
He loves some beer. He loves drinking some beers.
Oh, he loves beer.
We know. I saw it.
It's taken out of his hands, yeah.
I saw it. Dude, I'm telling you, bro, seeing him his first 2 to 3 years in that Dallas Mavericks jersey, I'm like, bro, it don't even look like you have one on. It looks like you just
You look like
flailing on
Pablo
your body.
Sandoval in a Red Sox jersey.
Yes,
Oh,
bro.
God,
Like, bro, you
PTSD right now. Don't even mention that, Tim.
bro,
Oh
you look
Lord, that
skinny
was the
as
worst.
heck in your early years. I'm like, tween, 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 tween. I'm like, yo, you dunking on people, quick first step, and by
Yep.
people with ease. I'm like, where's that Luka at? Where's that one at? But I mean, you know, when you're a guy that's so he loves to ball handle, he loves to take guys off the dribble. It's like, bro, at this point, work out the post. Something you have to rearrange your game for now where your body is at currently, because again, like Nico said, we don't think that what you're doing out here, your body will be able to put up with that for another 10 plus years or however long you want to be in the league. And shoot, we seen it. Julius Randle said, bro, you're not getting by me, and I'm gonna bump you too. Nas Reed, same thing. You're not getting by me, but I'm gonna give you a little something to take to the cup with you. That wears on you the rest of the game. And then when you don't go to the freaking bench to even get a second of rest.
No, that's 100%. I'm like, I don't even blame Luka for that. Like, say what I will say this about Luka. For as much as we criticize his weight, and rightfully so, it seemed like every single season he comes in out of shape. He does play heavy minutes in these playoff games, and again, he's I think second all time to Michael Jordan. Might have passed Michael Jordan. I'm not sure, but at least second all time in terms of playoff points per game. Like, it's not like a James Harden situation where he just gags in the playoffs. And speaking real quick of Harden and the Clippers. This is why I love the NBA playoffs, because it can literally 0.1 second can change the outcome of a season. The Clippers are up 2-1. They just smoked Denver in game 3. They had this heroic fourth quarter rally to come back and nearly steal game 4. And then at the last, millisecond, Aaron Gordon saves the day. And there was one shot of Aaron Gordon dunking the ball where the bottom of the buzzer was lit up and the sides weren't. Like, it was that close. Yep. And now, like, I just out of the corner of my eye, watched this game, and Denver's up 14 mid-third quarter. There's a play, somebody, I think it might have been Michael Porter Jr., misses a 3, and the Clippers just stare and watch the ball, and Christian Brown comes in, saves it, and gives him a second opportunity. Like, and the Clippers, to me, are, I think, clearly better than Denver. Denver obviously is the best player in the series and in the world right now, but I'm not saying the Clippers are dead or anything like that. This feels like it's almost destined to go 7 games, but my gosh, the tides of an NBA playoff series can change in an absolute blink. And I think that's why we love this stuff so much.
Yeah.
Right now, Hustle plays Denver's annihilating the Clippers.
Basketball discipline, bro. Basketball discipline. But go ahead, Tim.
No, I was just going to say this. I just saw this on X. Fun fact. The Celtics are the first team in NBA playoff history to trail at halftime, but end up winning by 30-plus points.
First team ever?
First team ever.
Wow.
That's a big swing. But going back to
boys, I got to go, but pleasure. Have fun.
All right, Tim.
Absolutely. See you, Tim.
Basketball soon.
For sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Going back to what I was saying with the Nuggets, especially since that's the game on right now, Jokic he has not had the dominant series that we've I feel like Jokic this year especially, he's been like top pinnacle player as far as dominance, and he hasn't been that dominant, but the Nuggets has found ways to get around that. Jokic has found ways to get around that. He has 11 assists right now. Jamal Murray's having an outstanding game. He's always due to have an outstanding game in a series, and this is his game right here. And it's not like the Clippers are playing that bad per se. It's just the Nuggets are playing that much better. This is definitely going to be a 7-game series. I definitely agree with you, Bryson, with that.
Yeah, I think it felt like that way coming in. Like, this was a series I had by far of all the 8 the most difficulty picking, is just because of all the areas where I felt like Denver didn't match up great in any of them, but just by virtue of having, with respect to Kawhi, who's a great playoff performer, but far and away the best player in the series and the championship experience. And again, listen, I still think the firing of Malone was, at the timing of it, was weird, but lost my mic there for a second. Apologize, fellas. But Adelman's done a solid job. I can't hate on the guy, especially being thrown into the situation he was thrown into, when they see him as the coach of the future. We'll see how that continues to progress. But I remember vividly. Charles Barkley says a lot of wild stuff. I thought when he called the Clippers the second best team in the West, that was not one of his crazier takes because of how they played in the second half post All-Star break. But again, it's just that. And by the way, too, it's coming down the pipe, fellas. That game 6 or 7, that James Harden old playoff demons showing up. Like we're close. It's getting there. And so I just want to prepare you guys, prepare the audience. Like that's coming. That's not a thing of the past.
That's destined to happen.
Oh yeah.
We don't need no magic ball or some witch.
Nope.
Because we
Yeah.
know it's going to happen.
Well, Kawhi
quote-
has to prevent it. Kawhi's the only man
Yep,
that can stop
For
that
real.
demon.
Legit.
To quote former President of the United States George W. Bush, "Fool me once, shame on you. If you fool me, you can't fool me again." That's
Yep.
James Harden, folks. Like that's if you continuously over and over and like name the great Harden playoff moment. What is it, like a game 1 in like 2015? I mean, like it's not there.
It's not in 6 or 7, that's for sure. It's
No,
always
it is
early
not.
on in the series.
2012 when he was the 6th man on the OKC Thunder.
Yeah, like that Spurs series, maybe. Like I remember him playing pretty well in that, but that's it. He was bad in the finals. That's just who he is.
How many teams has James Harden been on when they choked 3-1? That's definitely a common theme.
He's never choked. Actually, he came back from 3-1 one time in 2015 against the Clippers, but his
series.
issue
Well, with the
is
Rockets. Wasn't with the Rockets? I could have sworn he had a couple. He had 1 or 2 3-1s with the Rockets.
they
Yeah.
had Golden State down 3-2 in 2018. That was the Chris Paul series, and then the Warriors blew him out in Game 6, and then the Game 7 was where they missed 1,000 3-pointers in a row, and Steph had a near 30-point triple-double. But Harden's never. The Clippers were up 3-1 on Denver in the bubble and choked that in historic fashion. But 3-1 has more been a Doc Rivers / Clippers problem more than it's been a James Harden problem. James Harden's problem has been either close out Game 6s or stave off elimination Game 6s or 7s in that spot, for that matter. But that's kind of been his demons. He's really hasn't been able to overcome. So that's that. But that's coming down the pipeline. Just want to prepare you guys for that. There's no question about it.
Whatchamacallit, we want to talk about these NBA awards.
Sure, let's do it.
Hit me. Did they just release some more?
Well,
Last few days, yeah.
Yeah, so let's see. We got so Stephon Castle won Rookie of the Year.
Well deserved.
No doubt. He easily was the best rookie in my opinion. Guys definitely had some glimpses. But yeah, Stephon Castle, in my opinion, was clear cut. And I think he had that award wrapped up months in advance.
He was excellent.
I mean, as far as the Spurs were, outside of Wemby for most of the season, Fox showed up at the end, but Castle was always consistent no matter what throughout the whole year. So I have a lot of respect for Castle, and I think he will be a big asset for the Spurs if they decide to keep him and there's no crazy trade. So Giannis on the Spurs, now you got me thinking some crazy stuff.
I'm telling you,
pair
that's
Wemby and Giannis
terrifying
together,
stuff, guys.
That's terrifying.
Shoot, Wemby already doesn't like to operate in the paint, so now you got somebody that does. And if
that's Twin
you don't have
Towers.
something, then you got this freaking 7'5".
That is the Spurs renaissance will officially be complete because that is genuinely terrifying for the. I will say I think the league is hoping Giannis really needs to stay in the Eastern Conference because we're kind of running out of stars on that side. I remember a couple of years ago when Caleb Williams in the draft, and there was a bunch of these quarterbacks that could potentially go to the NFC. It's like, man, the AFC's got plenty of good quarterbacks. So we need some balance on the other conference. And if Giannis goes out west, then it's the Celtics are obviously the Kings easily. And then the Cavs, the Cavs certainly have a bright future moving forward. You got the Cavs. The Knicks are kind of at least stuck in the water with Tibbs. Then what? With no disrespect to the Pacers, but they don't play defense. We're kind of running out of seasons relative to the West. I thought the West had 5 teams coming in the playoffs that could have a legitimate case to say they could win the title this year. Whereas the East, it was 2. I'm sorry, the Knicks were never a title contender. The Cavs, I still have questions about the Cavs. Celtics are obviously the clear favorites. And so, it's always kind of felt like the way the West has always kind of been deeper, but still. But yeah, sorry to cut you off there, Arthur. But Stephon Castle, yeah, clear
Oh, yeah, no.
runaway rookie of the year.
Mr. Pritchard winning the 6th Man of the Year from the Boston Celtics.
Very deserving.
Hey, yeah, nah, that dude right there, dog. He's actually annoying. Like, I would actually hate. That's the thing about Boston, and that just I'm like, bro, if they lose this year, it's like how? Because you got your starting 5, right? You got Drew Holiday, you got Jaylen Brown, you got Jason Tatum, you got Al Horford, you got Kristaps Porzingis. But when you have Peyton Pritchard coming off the bench, who is your go-to guy, by the way, at the end of quarters, hey, Peyton Pritchard down there somewhere, let him chuck it up, and he makes it.
Yeah.
You got Derek White, who's another good defensive guard, who's a 3-and-D guy. It's like there's no excuse as to why y'all should lose.
No, and
should lose this year.
Payne Pritchard was the epitome of a bench guy too. A lot of the other guys that were in that 6-man conversation had way more starting games, and Pritchard was topping all like bench categories and points and score. Like any way you cut it with Payne Pritchard, he was the best bench scorer.
Hey, fellas, I got to bounce. This is fun. Let's do it again.
For sure, bro.
See ya.
I do.
You just want to run through the awards and then that'll be it. Because we just get a little late.
Yeah, we'll finish up here. Right now, Evan Mobley's not right now. Evan Mobley won the Defensive Player of the Year award. I believe that was also deserving. There were a lot of other guys as well who were in this. Dyson Daniels and Draymond Green. I thought Dyson Daniels was honestly going to get it, the way he just works the perimeter and his steals and how he just affects offensive players. But I'm not mad at Evan Mobley winning it either.
No, and part of that too is what team Dyson Daniels played on, because Marcus Smart won the D play because of that Celtics run that year and how good they were. Hawks, they're just never a team anyone cares about. I mean, Trae Young gets disrespected enough as a star in that team. And then Dyson Daniels averaging over 3 steals a game. I think he has the most steals ever in a season, which is very impressive considering who's in that like running like of all time in a season. And so like he definitely had a shout, but Evan Mobley, man, and that Cavaliers and how dominant they were, definitely deserving.
For sure. Right.
Oh no.
Like Denver is going to pull this one out unless the Clippers were to somehow find an edge and be able to just keep this close to where they can go bang for bang in the fourth quarter. But it's going to be an interesting watch to see the rest of the way.
No, for sure. It's right now the Nuggets have good enough a cushion that barring them falling apart, I think it's going. I think Nuggets definitely got this for sure.
Sheesh. I think the referees just missed a goaltending call, but right now Kawhi doing everything he can defensively and offensively.
Yeah, and they just don't have enough. I mean, speaking of Harden, his demons 2 for 6 right now at 8 points, only 2 assists. Like I was singing Harden's praises as a playmaker, and he's not showing that. He kind of seems to be invisible out there.
Yep. But shoot, we'll see what the rest of this game entails. Who plays tomorrow? Lakers and Wolves play tomorrow with the Lakers at home, and the Houston Rockets play the Golden State Warriors. So shoot, I'm gonna see if we're gonna be on tomorrow. I definitely want to be on tomorrow for that one.
Yeah, I mean 3-1 series, the series don't indicate how close these games truly were. So I think both of these games tomorrow are gonna be very good.
Definitely. Well, shoot, that's going to be it for tonight. Audience, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. We thank for the panelists that came on, from Barry Grant Jr. to Mike Guido to Bryson Carver, Tim Barner, Dylan Lima, and Tyler Moneyline Reddington as well. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate be safe and have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night.